Initially, when someone asks me where I'm from, I tell them Manhattan. If it gets down to specifics, I tell them Yorkville or the Upper East Side. Most of the time, their first impression may be that I'm wealthy or rich, but in reality, it's a place that's predominantly middle class and filled with small businesses. It either comes down to that or they have no idea of the true perception of Yorkville. So in a sense, I would be the first influence on their idea of how Yorkville is, or would be.
What's up, y'all? It's Triple M Records right here, John Dolo. It's alive. You know what I'm saying? The Twin Ballers, First Stab, Killer First all day, representative. Definitely, you know, we always rep, you know, Upper East Side, Spanish Harlem all day, unified, you know what I mean? We right here in front of the projects, you know, Stanley Isaacs. This is where we was, you know, raised at. You know, we was born in Mount Sinai Hospital, which is on like about roughly 98th, 99th Street, you know, Madison Avenue. You know, it's a pretty diverse neighborhood. You got a broad understanding of life growing up over here. It's not just the hood side or the project side. You also have, you know, luxury right next to the projects. You got luxury buildings, so you got a really broad, you know, scope of what life is about growing up in this environment over here. So it is kind of a dual existence, I would call it. You know, right here is 96th Street is the borderline for Spanish Harlem. You got the cop car coming right here too. So. Fuck around, they gonna come frisk us a little bit, see what we working with. You know, good, it's a day in the life. Growing up over here was always stop and frisk was a daily thing. You know what I'm saying? Pulling over. Police come up to you with a list and they say, what's your name? Oh, you right here. Oh, you one of the twins. You live in the XYZ building, right? Oh, we looking out for y'all. When you could just cross the street, catch a victim really quick, run back, cross 96th Street, make it happen. I think these two parks signify 96th Street best. This side of the park got a hockey ring, and on the other side got a basketball court. Yeah. That just tells you the type of environment that we in right now. Exactly. Point blank. That describes it best. I ain't never play hockey. I'm too short for basketball, so I had to get my hustle on in the street.
Hey, I'm Alec Worth.
I'm Declan Jenkins.
And I'm Thomas O'Hagan.
And we are American GONZO.
We've been a band for about 2 years. Well, between me and my other guitar player, we've been playing since we were about in 10th grade, so like 06.
Over the summer we started playing at my old gig. I used to bartend at the coffee shop in Union Square, and the night manager there, Ralph, who's the man, let us, he wanted to start doing live music, so he let us play on Saturday nights at 12 to 4 a.m. Called it the Red Eye Jam, and that was a lot of fun. And then this kid,
joined in, and since then started recording. We've recorded 2 singles, and we're looking to record 3 more for hopefully release in 2014 and continue the live scene. I started in Australia. I mean, I was born there, I grew up there. Until I was about 16 years old, I moved to New York, the Upper East Side, first neighborhood I've ever, experienced in New York. That's where I met Thomas, and that's basically how we started working together as artists.
And for me, well, I grew up on the Upper East Side my whole life, born and raised. I basically started playing, I've been a musician since about, let's say, 10 years old, and I've been a bass player since I was about 14. I'm 23 now, so it's been quite a long time. It's been a hell of a journey. I hope to just keep doing music on the Upper East Side. I want people to get anything out of this documentary to really just focus in and give the Upper East Siders a chance, because we make some fucking good music.
We used to go to Dillard Quail on 94th in Madison, and played saxophone for a little bit. I've known him since 3rd grade, and our other guitarist, I've known him, he's like my best friend, I've known him forever. And I don't know. I think music and art has always been a big part of my life. It never feels like work. I like the performance aspect because it's just like you get people together and you bring people into something communal, and that makes it really worthwhile.
And I guess, just shit. I mean, I had to say that last that I lived with a fucking awesome family. Just kind of having people just like being like, oh, you're decent. It just kind of kept me wanting to move on. Just get better at my instrument and show the world that I got what it takes to make good music and push it out there for everybody to hear. And I think this band that we have, it's gonna stick. It's gonna go up to the top. And I think that's gonna be my biggest obstacle, just making sure this band stays on track. And
yeah, I think maybe one other obstacle that we faced is at the Upper East Side. It's a very diverse neighbourhood, but in a lot of areas it's not really conducive to loud and high energy live music, and that's something we're kind of hoping to change, because I mean a lot of people in this neighbourhood they have an interest in that, but just the general area doesn't really offer enough opportunities for people to experience that.
There's a lot of venues, but there's like most of like the big scenes and everything. Everyone hears about the Lower East Side, like the club scene, meatpacking and everything. That's where like all the all the bands that you hear about now, or like the big bands play. But there is a live music scene like throughout the city. Like there used to be like Harlem used to be where all the really good jazz was. I think I really like that you're doing this movie, because you're gonna get the word out. Like there's every block of New York, there's places to like be entertained, see artists, see up and comers, and I don't know. I think it's just a publicity problem, and I think this will help that.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people, like Alex said, it is quite a diverse neighbourhood, but people kind of tend to generalise it into either just preppy folks who are trust fund babies or business oriented, or the complete opposite. There's never, it's not known as a hotbed for artists, and everywhere you can find artists. But, yeah.
I basically, I agree with that. Either it's the two extremes. Either you get people saying that it's just all preppy people or whatever. It's like, oh, if you talk to a lot of West Siders, they're always like, oh, it's Upper East Side's dirty, or like, whatever. That like West Siders hate the East Siders kind of thing. And I don't know. I think it's utter BS, and I don't know. I hope this documentary proves to people that we're good people and we're not just preppy, dirty assholes.
When I look at you, I think preppy. So
yeah.
No, I mean we're not saying by preppy. I don't think like we're not trying to generalize or stereotype anybody. There's just kind of there's stigmas, and there's like different like there's bars, and there's like people, you hear like the word Park Avenue and you think, oh, it's all like young rich kids or Gossip Girl or something. I'd meet like people at the bar, like girls would come up to me and say, oh, you live on Park Avenue, just like Gossip Girl, right? And that's not my favorite thing to hear. But no, it's just people get ideas in their heads because they're like, if you don't know anything about an area and you hear about it from a show or from like just any reference, like that's your only idea of that place. But the New York City is like the most diverse melting pot, I hate using cliches, but it's true, of culture per block. And I think that just getting ideas about areas in general just kind of, it just shows like ignorance.
And like Declan said, we're going to be coming out with a couple more singles in the next month or two.
And by 2014 we should have like a demo or an EP ready for release.
Yeah, Yeah, I say in 5 years we'll be famous, man.
Yeah, you can quote us on that. That's
I know in 5 years we're still going to be playing because it's so much fun. Like, no, like, even if we're not like huge, which that'd be great. I hope for that. But it's not like there's like tension besides me being a xenophobe and, and hating on the Australian member of American GONZO.
I actually
it's an affirmative action hire because we can't all be American. We have to hire one.
I'm actually a 2-for-1. I'm also mentally disabled, so we might have to cut that.
No, I don't know. I'd say a year from now, hopefully we've played like at least 50 shows. I want to start. We're starting to get our stuff together, and yeah, like just playing a lot of shows, building up our fan base, and then 5 years from now, who knows? But I know I still want to be singing with these guys and playing with these guys because it's just so much fun, and it's just like the other day we had a jam session. We had like a show coming up, but we hadn't played in a while, and we just decided instead of like sticking to the regiment and everything, we just jammed. And I don't know, for like about a month there, I just kind of lost focus on all the things that I liked doing, and that jam session just reminded me, like, we were just messing around, but we just played all our favorite songs and we're joking around, and it just reminded me of like what it's all about, which is bringing people together and having fun, and it made my month.
I'd say Red Hot Chili Peppers is definitely one that most of our fans pick from the sounds. Like, you'll listen to our music and you're going to hear a lot of similarities between that.
Cliff Burton, the old bass player from Metallica way back in the day. That's like what I learned, like really how to pick up the bass. I studied a bunch of these songs. I'd say, but yeah, it's, you know, definitely said, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers, it's like Rolling Stones. Bada bing, check that out, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
We all kind of like listen to different things. We, like, all of us, me less so until recently, but write for the band, and we write songs for the band, and it's funny because you can really tell the different people's influences too. It's just like the artists that keep going too are always impressive to me, even like in the face of like losing their popularity. Like the Chili Peppers aren't as big as they were. They were huge in the 90s, and now they're like, they've changed band members. They lost
Frusciante.
John Frusciante. He's not with them anymore. But like, they keep going because they love doing that. Like they all have kids now, but they keep playing, and the Stones are still going strong, amazingly. And Paul McCartney still putting out albums like last year, this year. It's like, you can tell when someone isn't doing it for the money or the popularity or the fame as much as they're doing it just because they love playing and they love just being an artist. And those are the people that really inspire me, I think, and probably all of us. But yeah, then there's the greats and all the people that died young and got into drugs and stuff. They're cool too. Just like trying to keep it consistent, like trying to keep it going. Like we try and at least meet up a couple times a month. If we don't have any gigs in that time, we just try and meet up and just get together and play, just to keep us fresh, but also to like kind of remind ourselves what it's all about, which is that it's fun. Like that's like we do this because it's our favorite thing to do. You don't do this out of some obligation. You don't choose to be an artist because I mean maybe you feel like that's the only thing you can do, but like I think most people, if you have the choice, you choose it to do it because you love it.
Growing up and being in this lifestyle that we live, you know, this hood was a young hood, I would say. Like, it was still coming up. So as far as the minority hip-hop crowd and shit, you know, we always had to regulate and represent you know, go extra hard. And as far as like, whenever I went to any other hood, whether it be Washington Projects, Carver Projects, you know, Metro North, East River, Wilson, Jackson, you know, Wagner, Polo Ground, you know, everywhere, you know, people will always be like, oh, you from that white boy projects and shit, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we always let them know, yeah, you know, there's white dudes in this hood, but them niggas bang. There's real white niggas in this hood. But then, you know, there's a whole bunch of black and Puerto Rican cats over here too. You know, we also got, you know, a Pakistani dude that rode with us, you know. Shout out to my homie Zahid, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it just shows the demographic of where we come from, you know, diversity. The haves and the have-nots, so, you know, and you know, you got Irish people, you got, you know, Italian, you know, me and my brother half Sicilian, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we got the baked ziti with the rice and gandules, with the curry goat and chicken, you know, with the fried chicken, you know. So it's black, Puerto Rican, it's all love coming in this hood, all that, yeah. You know, name it. You know, we had Haitian people who's like, you know, so it's diverse, but you know, it was a lot of crime. When I was growing up, it was a lot of, you know, it was a crack epidemic. You know what I'm saying? It was crack in the late, you know, the 80s and the 90s. It was crazy, you know, especially the late 80s, early 90s was my time, and shit was real, you know. It was money to be made out here, you know, and that brings the police, that brings crime, that brings the guns, that brings, you know, violence and guys coming around for other hoods. And, you know, I always had the pride, like, I gotta regulate, I gotta hold it down. You know, it wasn't for a while that I grew out of that and I realized, you know, this is not really mine. This is where I'm from, you know, but I gotta go past this. If I really wanna put this place on the map, I can't be out here all the time getting myself in trouble, you know?
But certainly there's a misconception of the Upper East Side that everybody's rich. You know, that's the main thing. And that everybody's white, you know, but you got people that have been living in this community and maybe tenement buildings for 40, 50 years, for generations and generations that this family.
Rent subsidized type apartment, Section 8, you know what I'm saying?
Rent stabilized apartments that people
affordable housing, you know? There's so many different things
that people done had in their family for, you know, generations and generations, and they still got holds on these apartments that they may be paying $400 a month, where their next door neighbor's paying $4,000 a month. You know what I mean? So to me, the misconception is that everybody got money in this area when we right here in Nightshire right now. You heard, we up in the New York City housing.
My name's Rob Green. As a producer, as a writer, performer, you would have heard of me as Benzie, RBG, Robert Benzie Green. First coming into the industry, my first credibility was hosting and emceeing at Sapphire Lounge for Easy Moby, spinning house music, which was absolutely an amazing thing with Eric E. Clark for Liberate Recordings. Through the entrance of that is how I ended up getting into electronic production, mixing. Currently, production of electronic music. I do DJ, do play, remix records, hosting parties and throwing parties as well. Born in New York, definitely born in the Upper East Side. As a child, I was with a parent that was in the military, so we left New York City and moved to Japan for a while. Coming back to New York City, my mother and I moved to Brooklyn. I was raised in Brooklyn, between Brooklyn and the Upper East Side. My family has always lived in the Upper East Side, so a lot of time I was living in Brooklyn, but coming back and forth. As far as art and as music goes, I started dancing at a very young age. First dance credibility I did was for Salsa Mambo, the Starlight Dance Studio. Did that for a couple years, which got the jitters out of me performing and being a performer and opened my eyes that I could be a performer. That turned into me writing music, performing my own type of music as a hip-hop artist, and which has led into me now producing my own music and making my own beats, as well as getting on my own songs and doing features with other artists as well. And I saw a passion in it. I knew I had the mind to do it, and that led to my electronic music career as a producer. Working with all these DJs and artists, it just opened my eyes, it opened my heart to do it. A lot of them encouraged me to make the music as well, given the fact that I was such in a lifestyle and such in the hustle and bustle of what was New York City tech house music. I always knew I could create it myself, and that opened the door for me to make it myself now. So currently that's what I do. I create my own music, creating my own tech house beats, remixing records in the industry and releasing them on my Upper East Side. I mean, there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of hustle, there's a lot of everything. Just like New York City in general, there's a lot of everything. So the main obstacle in New York City and the Upper East Side is being original, being an originator, you know, having something you can call your own and that you can bring to other people. So my main obstacle has always just been being myself, digging within myself and within life or within anything to be myself, because that's exactly what it is. So my main obstacle is that, like, just being original, constantly always trying to do something new, something that no one else is doing. Coming from the Upper East Side, we've kind of seen everything. So it's hard to fit into that when everybody's not impressed by nothing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm at a point where that was my biggest obstacle, I would say that, you know, just being original and bringing originality and, you know, getting people's eyes open. Growing up in that neighborhood, I would say a lot of folks didn't know that there was some credible and good hip-hop music that came from the Upper East Side, or that there was many artists that were out there from the Upper East Side. Myself growing up there, and anybody else who is from there will tell you that a lot of us grew up with really nice MCs from the Upper East Side. And, you know, in New York City, when you think of MCing, or you think of hip-hopping, or you think of rapping, you're not thinking of the Upper East Side, and that's a golden fact. So in that case, I think that's a very big misconception that there wasn't hip-hop, and if there was hip-hop, what kind of hip-hop would it be because of the neighborhood it is, or because it's an upper class or middle class neighborhood. And at the end of the day, hip-hop and music comes from your heart and soul. So no matter where you are, what corner of the earth you are, Upper East Side, Lower East Side, Brooklyn, Manhattan, wherever you're at, it comes from the heart. So, you know, I think that's a big misconception that there wasn't good music coming from that side of Manhattan, and truthfully there is. I can tell you that because I've been there my whole life. So, you know, I mean, I think people have always kind of had their back towards the Upper East Side as far as music. You know, a lot of people didn't think it was going down, or people weren't making it happen. And there was a lot of good music coming out of there. You know, I think there wasn't a lot of venues. I think that's another problem. People don't see it as often. But I've encountered that in my own travels of me being an artist, you know, of me working with somebody from the Upper East Side and another artist being like, wow, I didn't know there was many artists up there that were doing this kind of sound, or hey, I heard this artist, I didn't know he was from the Upper East Side, you know, whatever the case is. So, I mean, it's out there, man. It's out there all over the place. I encounter it whenever I step out the door, but it's happened more in the past than it does now. You know, there's a couple of us from the Upper East Side that are stepping it up right now. So, you know, with that said, you know, the misconception is only you know, a myth, a fable, a story tale. A year from now, well, a year from now, currently I'm finishing an album that I'm producing, the whole album, and writing and recording my vocals to the whole album. It will be an electronic music album. So a year from now, I want that album out. I want my marketing and my energy and my soul and my heart to be put behind it, and it getting me more shows and being broadcasted, and possibly some more remixes from some big labels. You know, I'd see that a year from now. 5 years from now, I mean, right now, currently, I'm split in half, 50-50. So half of me works a day job, half of me works music, you know, 24/7. So I don't sleep, I don't rest, I live my music, and I do it every day. So 5 years from now, hopefully I can just totally be exactly what I want to be, which is music every day, and devoting my time and my energy to it, and being everywhere I need to be across the world to bring it to people. So 1 year, little milestone, 5 year, big milestone, and we'll get there. So that's where I see it. Whew. From in the electronic music field, I mean, there's a whole lot of people. Josh Wink being one of them, which you randomly, rarely probably hear that would be shouted out on something like this, but I'm an underground and very credible electronic house music producer, as well as Tony Humphries, Louis Vega, Kenny Dope, Frankie Knuckles, Kenny Larkin. I mean, let's get out of the underground. I mean, anyone from Will I Am right now is a very big influence to me. Definitely enjoy his music. You know, I mean, it's like influence comes from everywhere. I'm just trying to give you a couple. I could sit here, you know, for decades, you know, eons. It's not only electronic music, you know, we can, I feel the weakness is staying at it sometimes, you know, keeping faith, staying straight, you know, sticking to your mold, knowing your, you know, for me as an artist, it's like knowing your sound, knowing your purpose and sticking to it is hard, you know, work ethic is hard, you know, especially in this day and age where you got so many other things going on. So that's my biggest weakness for myself, you know, it's just continuing staying as potent as I am when I'm as most hungry, you know, keeping that hunger, you know, even as success comes, you know, if one good thing's happened, it's just staying consistently successful and just believing that this thing that I believe I'm working with, my movement, my team, everything is powerful and it's gonna work. And I want it to work. So, you know, my biggest problem and sometimes, you know, is losing that fight, you know what I'm saying? We lose it sometimes, you know, it doesn't always stay as strong as it needs to be, you know.
We started out with the Untouchable Mixtape Volume 1, hosted by DJ Capone, you know, very famous DJ from Harlem. We actually went to school with him. So we did Volume 1 with him, then we did Untouchable Volume 2, hosted by DJ Ron G, who's definitely a legend in the DJ game. Definitely. Shout out to DJ Capone, shout out to Ron G also. Then, you know what I'm saying? Then we played it with one of our in-house DJs on Volume 3, you know what I'm saying? Untouchable Mixtape Volume 3, hosted by DJ Heated Malone. You know what I'm saying? I definitely got to pick that up. Everything's available for free download on that Piff. You know what I'm saying? Everything's sponsored, all that. So definitely go get that good music there. We got Harlem's French Connection with my dude Swim Prom from France. We did the first one, Harlem's French Connection, and we did Volume 2, Harlem's French Connection Part 2. Them joints is all fired. This is what we've done in the past. We worked with a lot of different artists in the past. We worked with J.R. Ryder, Killer Priest from Wu-Tang. We worked with Loaded Lux from Harlem. Max B, you know, the Wave King. You know, Free Max B. Definitely legendary. Coogee Rap, the GOAT, basically. Yeah, Coogee Rap was a godfather, East Coast rap. I don't know if y'all know. Like my brother said, Max B. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Free Max. Pardon the Wave. Gang Green, got my dude Opera Steve. So we work with some, you know, some pretty big names in the industry. Opera got mad plaques. Big dog. What started us out with the whole, first, you know, we used to freestyle. You know, pretty much everybody in the hood, either, you know, when they had some drinks in them or, you know, maybe smoke or whatever, they do. You know, you freestyle, you vibe out. And it started off just as fun. Gradually, it started to progress. People started noticing, like, yo, you know, yeah, definitely nice. You know, you spitting some shit. So gradually, it started to grow. You know, we always had the influencement from our OGs from this hood. I got to shout out my dude, B-Ball Bless. We really was in the element with. And then my dude Don Giovanni, he the one that showed us more of the recording aspect, more of the professional side of things, of recording and getting it in. You know, I definitely got to big up B-Ball Bless and my dude Don Giovanni, because ain't nobody that I knew that was doing this before. They was doing definitely. It was them and then us. Yeah, you know, they were going to the studios, recording records. Don Giovanni was all over the show, Shogun mixtapes, DJ Showtime. Was a you know, a big DJ back then, you know, with the doo-wop era, the mixtapes was really popping back then, you know, and Don Giovanni was definitely murdering them. So those were the guys that kind of, you know, gave us the influence. Then it was really when I met up with John Brackett. Shout out to my brother John Brackett. You know, we go back years and years. He was the first dude that really was like, yo, listen, I gotta get you in the studio. You know, you gotta take this serious, take it to the next level. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, definitely the history is there. We've been doing music for years. You know, shout out to Shogun for you know, from the Isaacs. Yes. You know, he was always a young dude that you know, spit them dangerous bars. You know what I'm saying? You know, my nigga J.R. Ryder was from this hood. You know, shout out to J.R. Ryder. Definitely, young, they come spit bars for us, let us know, you know, to get our feedback on little kids spitting. They've been spitting since they was little. You know, we was teenagers.
And they were younger than us, and they were spitting.
My name's Martin Mora. I'm from Yorkville, but I wrestle out of WW as Judas Black from the Bowery. First I was boxing in Gleason's gym. After learning how to box, I dropped out the sports center under Carlos Farrer. And with this blessing, I went off to Gleason's to try to start a pro boxing career. And that's when I discovered WW, World of Unpredictable Wrestling. It's an organization that does indie shows and actually teaches pro wrestling out of Gleason's gym. I didn't know there was anywhere in New York City you could actually learn to be a pro wrestler. I always thought that was just something that went down south or in the Midwest. That's when I decided to pursue the art and the sport of pro wrestling. I've been doing that for a little over a year now. I grew up in Yorkville. I was raised with my grandmother because my parents had their own personal issues. And that was always a little rough trying to explain to people why everyone else in Yorkville has full families and I'm living with my grandmother. And then once my parents got themselves together, my dad ended up moving to North Carolina. My mother ended up moving to the Bronx. I lived with her for a couple of years, and we just didn't get along. There was a lot of personal issues that didn't get worked out, being that she wasn't there for my childhood and everything like that. And eventually I ended up going back with my grandmother. So it's kind of funny, Yorkville's that kind of neighborhood. People will move halfway across the world and come back, and it's like you never left. Currently, I'm back in Yorkville. I'm doing a pro wrestling thing. I actually work near Yorkville, Mount Sinai Hospital, so I just stay in my own little shop. My wrestling character, I had to build from the Bowery because instead of playing the stereotypical shucking and jiving, rapping black wrestler, I decided to go a different direction that no other black wrestler's doing and go with the punk rock gimmick. But when you think rock stars, punk rock, metalhead, you think the Village and the Bowery. You tell someone you're from Yorkville, they go, where? And then you explain to them, oh, it's the little area before Harlem. So it's Harlem? No, it's Yorkville, it's Manhattan. So you mean Midtown? No, I mean Yorkville. So instead of just going through all that, I just came with a character that's more relatable to the average person. But I guarantee you by the time my wrestling career is said and done, everyone will be able to point out Yorkville on the map. Because first of all, no one knows where it is. Everyone thinks Harlem or Midtown. Everyone knows LES, the other boroughs. But one half of it, you have the preps, the trust fund babies, the haves, so to speak. And then right down the block, you got drug deals going on, you got people getting robbed. I mean, my parents grew up in Yorkville and they kind of fell into that, and that was their personal issues which took them away from me for most of my life. But thank God my grandmother had herself together in the other part that's actually doing pretty well, and I was able to live a good life there, and I didn't fall into the same pitfalls they did. So as I just keep living each and every day, I just keep remembering the mistakes they made and learning from their mistakes and not making the same ones. My wrestling org is based out in Brooklyn, and of course you're gonna have wrestlers there from, you know, the real tough parts of Brooklyn, and they hear I come from Yorkville, they automatically think I own like a 2-story condo or something, and it's actually quite the opposite. So it's just misconceptions like that, and then there's times where they're not gonna get that a wrestler with the punk rock gimmick actually comes from a diverse neighborhood like Yorkville or like the Upper East Side, which is why I had to build Judas Black the way I did, just so people could relate to it and just get the point of the gimmick. A lot of stuff has happened kind of fast as pro wrestling's concerned. I mean, I had my debut after a month of training, and it included a title shot. I didn't win, but I was there. And then within 2 months, I held one of the titles, the Rumble and Dumble Trophy, for 7 months. And then the tag belts, and I was a double champion for a bit. And now currently I'm holding their club title. So if I did all that in a year, I can only imagine in another year, just keep the same hype going. And within 5 years, I wanted to get to a point where I could write on my tax return occupation professional wrestler. It's funny that people don't really know what to call a pro wrestler. They say either performer or athlete, but pro wrestling is an art, and just like every other artist, and whether it's dance, music, comedy, there's someone they look up to, and you could see that shine through their own performances. With me, the guy who influenced me to get into the wrestling business was CM Punk, because he's not a stereotypical big 250-pound, muscle-bound, muscle-head wrestler, and you can see obviously neither am I. So it was very easy for me to relate to him in that, and now that he also had problems with his family, and then he struggled to stay true to himself, like what I'm trying to do. So he's a huge influence for me. As far as the way I perform in the ring, me being a former boxer, I actually bring some of the strikes and athleticism into the ring, and that's what separates me from other pro wrestlers. Everyone will see me like in a battle royal with 20 other people, but who do you remember? The guy with the black kick pads who kicked everyone in the head. That's me. So I drew influence from Chris Hero, who he himself was an amateur boxer before he got into pro wrestling. I drew influence from this Japanese wrestler Kenta, who ironically enough influenced CM Punk. And Kenta himself was an amateur kickboxer, and he brings a lot of his strikes into the ring. So I just try to take different things that I've learned from boxing, other mixed martial arts that I dabble in, and then see what other wrestlers similar to my shape and size do, and try to do it differently, like make it more a Judas Black thing instead of just a tribute to somebody else. You can say perform pro wrestler, because that's what we do. You know, it's staged combat. I mean, I think a lot of weaknesses I had at first was, well, how do you get people to invest themselves in a fake dying sport? You know, it's not as big as it used to be in the 90s. And the first question I always get asked, bar none, is it real? And I just tell them, look, you know, Draws is sitting in a wheelchair from a fake sport. Steve Austin has a fused neck from a fake sport. So it's just constantly proven to a jaded, know-it-all crowd just how real this sport is. So I used to get upset at first when people say it's fake and it's bullshit or whatever, but after being in it, those are people I have to prove nothing to. The second they watch, they're convinced. Right now, my weakness, honestly, I'm my own harshest critic. I mean, anyone who sees me before a match will tell you I'm a nervous wreck. Oh, what if I miss this? What if I do that? What if I forget my lines? And the second I go out to the ring, it just flows. So really, I think my biggest weakness is just inexperience. And how do I plan on fixing that? Just keep going in there, keep practicing, and keep experiencing.
Well, my name is Raymond Rep Young. Everyone calls me Rep. From the Upper East Side, 93rd Street, 1st Avenue, Isaac's Buildings. Past experience I've had, like with dance, I'm a dancer. I'm a professional dancer. I got signed to an agency, Block Agency. Shout out to Block, love you guys. And I just pretty much do a lot of dance between shows here in New York, or I travel, or I do artist work. Like I work with Chris Brown, I work with Neo, I work with Mary J. Blige, I work with Beyonce. So yeah, I does this. Like, this is what I do. This is me. This is what I'm about. Well, I was born in Harlem, moved to the Bronx for a little bit, then for the remainder of my years, like currently, I live at, Upper East Side. So I give it like a good 14 years of my life I lived up there. And pretty much where we come from is just like, it's kind of rough. Like we're kind of stuck in the middle of it, because Upper East Side, 93rd Street, is like, nobody really thinks to say like, hey, you know what, there's still a struggle over there too. So, but there is one, like, and I come from it. I just didn't let it overcome me. Like, I beat it, in a sense. I give a short story. I like to party a lot, so me and my sister threw parties in the house, and we had people come over. And one of the events, unfortunately, cops came into the house, and they ended up shooting one of my friends accidentally. And they shot him in his leg for no reason. Like, he came into the house, pushed me out the way, had his gun out. And it was just like, you walk into a house with at least 80 teenagers in here, why would you come in here with a gun? And then it was just a whole thing. So it was a mistrial between it. Like, the kid, he got money off of it. It was just a whole retarded thing. But I ended up getting arrested because we hosted the party. And it was just like, thank God that my lawyer beat it and stuff, and I don't have a record for it. But it's just like stuff like that, like just the innocent house party like that can turn into something so terrible.
What's going on? My name is Dana Palmer Jr. I am a musician, producer, goes by the name Capo LUCEM. I've been rapping for about 10 years, producing for about 7. Previously, I released 2 mixtapes under an entertainment company in 2010. And just this past year, released an album, self-produced album. titled Everlasting. Currently working on getting a tour, booking a tour, whether it be in the spring or in the summer, doesn't matter. And releasing another mixtape for my people. Fucking love y'all. I was born in the Upper East Side, Mount Sinai. While my father was working in the Navy as a naval officer. I grew up here majority of my life, but before that, a couple months after, we moved around to where he was primarily stationed at, between Boston, Philadelphia. My younger brother was born in Philadelphia. My father's from Atlanta, so when he got out of the Navy, that's where we moved to when he was done in Atlanta for up until I was about 7, or in first and second grade. And after which, we moved back to New York, where my mother's from. From then, about second grade and up, I've been here, living here, dwelling in the streets of the Ville. I was previously in school at Long Island University, and since then I haven't continued my education. I took it on a standstill for different reasons. But my current lifestyle, I'm back at home working, staying with my family, staying close to them.
Well, my name is SOLONE. I'm a Latino artist living in New York City. From Brooklyn, living on the Upper East Side right now. Consider myself as an artistic musician. I guess, you know, I like art, I like music. When I say music, I like everything. You know, myself, I play instruments. I like bachata, merengue, hip hop. I like everything. Driven. He's very professional. He knows what he wants. He's going places. I admire that. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of people who deliver fast as he does. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people sleep on work, on music, and Caper, he's there. 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Hustle, 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 hustle. And you need that shit, you know what I mean? You need hunger in this game, and Caper got that, you know? Artists in the Upper East Side, it's different, because I'm used to the art there. It's not like in Brooklyn, where you see art everywhere you go. LES, where you see graph arts, dancing, music out in the street, you know what I mean? You see art everywhere. We do have art in the UES, Upper East Side, but it's we have the museum, you know, and it's more like, I say, like, it's more of a community over there, you know, and the art is in the museums, you know. But here, a lot of artists coming out of Harlem, coming out of Brooklyn, all over the place, but the Upper East Side, but we are there, you know. Still working hard and doing it, you know. Not everybody on the Upper East Side is rich, you know what I mean? It's people see it like that, but it's not like that, you know. There's a lot of working families, you know what I'm saying? We're still there, struggling, doing what we love, you know, which is music.
I met Cape through SOLONE. He said, look, I know this artist that, you know, he's nice and he's also a producer. And I said, yo, you know, tell him to come to the studio, and, you know, we'll listen to his music. SOLONE's word is always dope. When a producer or artist is nice, he knows it, he says dope. So when he came in, we heard his stuff. Music is great, and I stand by his word. We all got something different. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the genre basically is hip hop, but we all got something to bring to the table. He's diverse. His music is, you know, you could hear it. You could hear it in his lyrics. You could hear it on his tone. His voice is basically, you know, attacking the issue. Music on the Upper East Side is big. You know, no matter where it started, we Latin. You know, he's in the American industry. So basically, Upper East Side has their their roots. They got the group, they got the foundation, they got the artists. They established something on the Upper East Side. I haven't gotten a chance to work with any other Latin artists from the Upper East Side, but as far as the hip hop in general, man, they got their ground, they got their level up. They have a belt on their waist, when it comes to hip hop. There's been many artists that have come from the Upper East Side and they still up at this level. They still on their grind at this moment. So of course I respect the Upper East Side. Just being a fan of music just makes me respect anybody who's grinding, bringing it to life, and you gotta respect it.
Coming from the Upper East Side, some obstacles that I faced, it's one of two. It's either someone not knowing who I am or where I'm from and breaking the ice with that, or them having a misconception or an improper idea of where I'm from or who I may be, stereotypically, either whether it comes down to where I'm from or who I am, because they pretty much don't know me. Whether it be somebody doubting me just in general, like, oh, he doesn't know this, he doesn't know that, he can't do this, he can't do that. Which I'm pretty sure everybody gets a taste of. I believe that there is misconceptions about people from the Upper East Side, whether they be stereotypes or not. Sometimes with certain people, maybe they are correct, maybe they're not. But you can't just go around saying that everybody from that area is like a particular way, because they're two different lifestyles, or even people in between that is different lifestyles. It's more than just two different lifestyles. People are unaware about the Upper East Side. When you think of, when it comes to hip hop, when I tell people I'm from Yorkville, they're like, where's that? I would just be like, oh, I'm from Manhattan. Oh, okay. So you're from Harlem, right? No, I'm not from Harlem, because at the end of the day, I'm not from there. I'm not gonna rep some place that I'm not from. I'm gonna keep it real. At the end of the day, I'm from Yorkville, I'm from here. I think it's more, when it comes to hip hop, it's more about what I'm rapping about. I'm not like, as far as me as an artist, I don't rap about shooting guns or killing people, because that's not me. I'm comfortable in my skin. I know that that's not me. I'm not saying that I'm a pussy ass nigga, but at the end of the day, I'm more like I'm business minded. I'm not rich, but I'm about my business at the same time. If that's the shoe that I can fit, I'm gonna wear that shit. A year from now, I plan on being on a tour, doing several shows. In 5 years, possibly moving somewhere, doing, whether it be in the United States, out of the United States, keep creating music, different endeavors. I'm a person with an open mind, so, and I'm a real humble person at the end of the day, so like, I mean, doing me. As long as I'm doing me, I'll be happy, and doing what I love, I'll be happy.
My name is Nicholas Allen. Go by Nicky Charles in all the works and projects I do. I met DJ. I met him back in college. I didn't put him in a box or prejudge him, because where we met, we were both like equal. We were both trying to join a fraternity when we first met back in college and everything like that. And that's basically how our friendship started from there. Then later on in our college career, he started talking about doing music videos for his work that he does, rapping and his hip-hop career and everything like that. So he asked me to do a music video. We shot a music video about his career. He kind of like jump-started where I wanted to go with filmmaking and everything like that, and got my name out there. First of all, like when I was younger, I had a misconception that no one even lived in Manhattan. I thought it was like fucking I thought it was like all, what you call it, like it's just a place that you go to. I never even really met anyone that said they were from Manhattan when I was a kid.
People just think that there's no struggle from the Upper East Side, and there is. Like there's a lot going on in which, people don't really know about. They think that we're privileged and we don't have to earn things just because of where we live, but they assume where we live and they actually don't really know. So, and the fact that LES and Spanish Harlem and those West Side, even West Side, 93rd Street get more credit than us. So it's just like, you guys don't even know what we go through or whatever. So yeah, I give it so much lip and everything, but it's cool. People like me, we make it. So I am from Harlem, but I don't I don't really like live there anymore. So like, you know, I claim Upper East Side. So when it comes down to it, like Brooklyn, they got Brooklyn Flex out there, that style of dance. So when I go out there, I switch it up to Brooklyn Flex. Like if you want to flex, I can flex. That's not the only thing I do. But them, they'll just focus on that kind of style of dance. Me, I do everything. So when I go to parties or events, like I went down to a party on 28th Street when I was younger. This is when like Skate Key was still going on and everything like that. And I went down there, so Harlem Shake was clearly happening. And we went to a party and we danced. And clearly I was like the dancer. Everybody pushed me on the floor and I would dance or whatever the case. And it came to the point where they lost so bad that they wanted to play us in basketball. We beat them in basketball and they just took it as a loss and then they wanted to fight. And I'm just like, y'all gotta be kidding me. Like, this is y'all block, this is y'all neighborhood. It's like 50 of them. There's only one way to get out of this basketball court. So we had to hop over the fence and run to the train. Like, it was that bad. Over dance. It started over dance. I'm like, I take this to heart. Like, I'll put it up against anybody you want to battle. Like, trust me. I get it on with anybody or whatever. Anywhere I go, you're gonna know who I am. So, in the very near future, I am going to be on Broadway again. I was already on Broadway with a company called Illuminate, and it's an off-Broadway show. It's actually still going on now, but I want to be back on Broadway. I am taking up tap now, so that is something that's just going to broaden my dance career. Within like the next 3 to 5 years, I'm pursuing a business in Miami, since around South Beach there's not really a dance scene over there. So I want to open up a studio over there in which we have teachers, and you know, just it'll be a better way, because there's so many dancers. Like when I go out there and we'll just go out there and freestyle, tell people don't give us no money, we just want to dance and let's see what you guys got. And they'll go out there and have fun, and it's like, listen, we don't have this over there. They only have it in the colleges or, you know, over there in Orlando or something like that. So Miami, South Beach, they don't have it. So I'm just like thinking for the future, that's going to be a perfect business plan for me, and that's exactly where I'm probably going to be at. Honestly, I would have to say my friends, my peers, because it's not really a one-up thing with them, but when I see them doing great, when I see my best friends dancing with Beyonce and dancing with like Selena Gomez and things like that, it just makes me, it inspires me to do better than what I am. So at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. So that I want to always make sure that, you know what, I'm pushing myself to be better than what I am now. So yesterday is not even going to matter, because today I'm killing it, and tomorrow I'm definitely going to kill it. And I want people to look up to me the same way I look up to other people. Honestly, the only weakness I have as an artist right now, unfortunately, would be my my attitude. Like where I come from is just, I'm too tough. So people think because you're a dancer, you may be a little timid, you may be a little soft. That's not the case. Like, I just have that attitude. So at the end of the day, I'll dance. I'll rather battle you or talk it out. But if not, I have no problem punching you in the face, and that's just how I give it up.